I want you to think about something. Your smart doorbell, whatever brand it is recording right now. Every time something moves in front of it, it captures. Every time a car passes, a neighbor walks by, a package is delivered, your doorbell sees it and saves it. And most of us check those notifications only when we expect something, a delivery, a visitor. We look when the bell rings. We do not sit and watch our own front porch in real time. That is the thing about a doorbell camera. It watches even when you do not. I have a Nest doorbell. I installed it 14 months ago on the front door of my house in Memphis, Tennessee. I live alone. I work as a physical therapist. I bought my house 3 years ago. I am not someone who worries excessively about security. I installed the doorbell because packages had been stolen in my neighborhood, and I wanted documentation if it happened to me. That was the only reason, nothing more alarming than that. I had not checked the live view of my doorbell more than a handful of times in 14 months. On a Thursday night in March, I checked it by accident. I was on my couch, half watching television, scrolling through my phone. My thumb hit the Nest app icon by mistake. It sits next to my weather app, and I had been trying to check the forecast. The app opened to the live view of my front porch. There was a man standing on my front step. He was not ringing the bell. He was not knocking. He was not looking at his phone or fidgeting or doing any of the things people do when they are waiting at a door. He was standing completely still on my front step, facing my door. I had been home all evening. No one had rung my bell. No one had knocked. He had been standing there without doing either. And I would never have known he was there if my thumb had not hit the wrong icon.
I need to tell you what I saw before I tell you what I did, because the image on the live view is something I still think about when I am trying to fall asleep. The man was standing on my front step, not on the porch generally, on the step directly in front of my door. He was tall, maybe 6 feet, dark clothing, a jacket, dark pants. His hands were at his sides. He was facing the door, not pacing, not looking around, not checking anything, standing. I watched the live feed for approximately 30 seconds. He did not move during those 30 seconds. I switched to the recorded footage to understand what I was looking at. The Nest app stores footage by motion events. I went to the event history for my front door. The most recent event was timestamped at 11:47 p.m. That was the moment I had accidentally opened the app. The event had triggered when he arrived. Before that, another event at 11:32 p.m. Before that, 11:19 p.m. Before that, 11:04 p.m. I scrolled back. 10:48 p.m. 10:33 p.m. 10:17 p.m. 10:02 p.m. 9:44 p.m. Each event was a motion trigger. Each clip showed the same man in the same position, standing in front of my door. The first event was at 9:44 p.m. I had accidentally opened the app at 11:47 p.m. He had been standing on my front step for 2 hours and 3 minutes before I knew he was there. And when I was looking at the live feed, he was still there. 2 hours and 3 minutes, standing at my door, without ringing the bell.
I am going to tell you exactly what went through my mind in the 30 seconds after I understood what I was looking at. The first thought, and I want to be honest because I think honesty about this matters, the first thought was that there was an explanation. Medical emergency, someone who needed help and was too incapacitated to knock, a confused neighbor who had gone to the wrong house. The second thought was that none of those explanations accounted for 2 hours, for 15-minute intervals of still standing, for the complete absence of any behavior a person in medical distress or genuine confusion would exhibit. The third thought, and this is the one that my body had arrived at before my brain, was that whatever was happening outside my door, I was alone inside my house. The front door was between us, and I needed to not be alone with this information. I called 911. I want to tell you about this call because I think a lot of people in my situation would have hesitated, would have told themselves they might be overreacting, that it was probably nothing, that calling 911 for a man standing on your porch, not doing anything, just standing, might make them look foolish. I have thought about that instinct many times since. I called 911. The dispatcher answered, and I said very calmly, "There is a man standing on my front step. He has been there for over 2 hours. He has not knocked or rung the bell. I am alone in my house, and I am watching him on my doorbell camera." The dispatcher said, "Is your door locked?" I said, "Yes." She said, "Stay away from the front of the house. Do not open the door. Officers are on the way." She stayed on the line. I moved from the couch to the kitchen, the interior room farthest from the front door. I sat on the kitchen floor with my back against the cabinets, and I watched my phone. On the Nest Live feed, he was still there, still standing, still facing my door.
The officers arrived 7 minutes after my call. 7 minutes. I watched on the live feed as the police cruiser's lights appeared at the edge of the frame. The doorbell camera's field of view includes the street and the approach to the house. I saw the lights before I heard anything. The man did not run. He did not move quickly. He turned, slowly, and faced the officers as they approached the porch. I could see from the camera that there was a conversation. I could not hear it. I watched the man's body language, still controlled, still unhurried in a way that did not match the situation. A person who has been standing at someone's door for 2 hours and is now approached by police should be startled, or defensive, or frightened, or apologetic, any human emotion that acknowledges the strangeness of what they have been doing. His body language showed none of those things. One of the officers knocked on my door. I opened it, chain still on, and spoke to her through the gap. She asked me to come to the door properly, and I did. The man was standing in my front yard now, the other officer with him. From my porch, I could see him clearly for the first time. He was in his late 30s or early 40s, clean-shaven. Nothing about his appearance was remarkable. He was looking at me from my front yard with an expression I did not recognize and cannot fully describe. Not hostile, not frightened, not embarrassed. Evaluating. That is the closest word I have. He was looking at me the way you look at something you have been studying. The officers spent about 20 minutes at my house. The man, I am going to call him what the officers referred to him as during the interaction, which was Sir, because that is all they could call him, told the officers that he was looking for a friend's house and had been waiting for his friend to answer the door. He could not name his friend. He could not produce a phone showing any attempt to contact the friend. He could not explain why, if he was waiting for a friend to answer, he had not rung the bell. The officer who was with me inside my house, a woman, Officer Thorne, explained to me what they could and could not do. They could not arrest him. Standing on a public step, technically my private property, but accessible from the street, was not a crime in itself. His explanation was implausible, but not prosecutable. Without evidence of a specific crime or a credible threat, they could not detain him.
What they could do was issue a verbal trespass warning, informing him officially that he was not welcome on my property and that any future presence would constitute trespassing. They did that. He received the warning with the same controlled, evaluating expression. He walked away, down my street, without looking back. Officer Thorne gave me her card. She told me to call the non-emergency line if he appeared again. She told me to keep all my doorbell footage, not to delete anything. She told me to send her the footage from that night. I sent it to her before she had left my driveway. And then I stood in my locked house and I thought about the word evaluating. I did not sleep in my house that night. My closest friend, a woman named Adrian, came and picked me up at 1 a.m. I stayed at her apartment for 4 days. When I came back, I changed my lock cylinder, not the whole lock, just the cylinder, which my locksmith told me was sufficient and took about an hour. I added a second deadbolt. I had motion sensor lights installed on both sides of my house. I moved my Nest doorbell settings to send me a live alert, not just a recorded clip notification, but a real-time notification the moment any motion triggered in front of my door. And I did something that Officer Thorne had not suggested, but that I decided to do anyway. I went back through 14 months of Nest footage. Not all of it, that would have been impossible, but I checked every Friday and Saturday night, every late-night event between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. I found him twice more. The first was 8 months earlier, a Sunday night in July, a figure appearing at the edge of the doorbell frame and standing on the sidewalk in front of my house for approximately 4 minutes before leaving. The footage was not clear enough to be certain it was the same person, but the stillness was identical. The second was 11 months earlier, an April night, a figure on the sidewalk, 7 minutes, same stillness, same facing the house position. Again, not conclusive, but the pattern was unmistakable. I sent both clips to Officer Thorne. She called me back within the hour. She said, "This is important. This changes the picture significantly. If this is the same individual, you have documented behavior spanning nearly a year. That is a pattern of conduct." She asked if I had any idea who he was. I said no. She said, "He knows where you live. He has apparently known for some time. Has anything unusual happened in the past year? Anyone approaching you? Any sense of being followed? Anything that felt wrong?" I thought about it, and I remembered a moment 8 months earlier, in July, when I had been getting into my car in the gym parking lot, and a man had been standing near the row of cars watching me. I had noticed it and dismissed it. I had driven away. I did not know if it was the same man, but 8 months earlier was exactly when the first possible footage appeared. The investigation is ongoing. I am not going to tell you where it stands because it is active and I have been advised to keep the details limited. What I can tell you is this. The verbal trespass warning was the first step in building a documented legal record. Officer Thorne explained to me that a trespass warning, combined with documented footage of repeated appearances, creates the evidentiary foundation for more serious charges if the behavior continues. He has not appeared on my doorbell footage since the night of the incident. I check the archive every Sunday evening. I have checked it every Sunday since March. I check the live view more often than I would like to admit. I want to tell you what this experience changed about how I understand my own security. I had a doorbell camera for 14 months. I had not once checked the footage archive proactively. I checked notifications when they woke me up, and otherwise I assumed that if nothing alarming had triggered a notification, nothing alarming had happened. I was wrong. The Nest app notified me of motion events, but I had my notification settings at a level where I was only alerted when the camera detected a person, not every motion. This meant the 9 clips from the night in March each generated a notification on my phone. 9 notifications over 2 hours. I had been on my phone that evening. I had dismissed the notifications without reading them because I had been deep in something else, and the habit of dismissing Nest notifications without checking them had made the notifications meaningless. The doorbell camera saw everything. The notifications told me something was happening. I dismissed them. It was an accident, a wrong thumb on the wrong icon, that showed me what my own camera had been trying to tell me for 2 hours. I am going to tell you the specific things I changed and why. The first thing is notification settings. Every doorbell camera app has notification settings. Most people set them up once and forget them. Go into your settings right now and change them so that every motion event, not just person-detected events, every motion generates a notification you cannot dismiss with a habit. Better yet, enable the live view notification that shows you the feed immediately when motion is detected, not a recorded clip, live. I would have seen him at 9:44 p.m. if I had that setting on, 2 hours earlier. The second thing is the archive. Go back through your footage, not just recent footage. Go back to the beginning. Look at late-night events. Look for anyone who appears more than once in a position that is not passing through. One appearance at 11 p.m. is noise. The same person, same position appearing in April and July and March is a pattern. The camera documented it. I just had not looked. The third thing is this. Do not hesitate to call 911 for someone standing at your door who has not knocked and has not rung the bell. You are not overreacting. You are not wasting their time. A person with a legitimate reason to be at your door will knock, will ring, will make their presence known because they want you to know they are there. Someone who stands at your door for 2 hours without knocking is communicating something with that silence. And what they are communicating is not something you should try to understand by opening the door. Call 911. Show them the footage. Let them handle the conversation. And tonight, before you go to sleep, open your doorbell camera app. Not to check for a notification, open the live view. Look at your front porch right now. Make sure it is empty, because mine was not. And I was home, and I had no idea.